So we're back again, and we're finally back and able to have a look at what's going to happen here. So SLR Quattro on pole position, everybody down to P10 on the medium tyres except P10 of the Ferrari of CRM Doodle. Again, you're going back down to mediums, Mopsy Flopsy on the hards. There's a car spun out. That's Kofi, who's had a bit of a problem. Randos was taken, is interestingly gone for the soft compounded tyres, and he is getting right up close and personal to Mopsy Flopsy and has disqualified himself by doing that. Jackie Gabbana in P16 also on the medium tyres. As we watched them, it's a very quick formation lap, so they try and take it as quick as possible, and Jinx is taking a bit too long there now. He's going to have to catch up a little bit, and CRM Doodle is definitely falling a lot further behind than he should be, but he's managed to catch up there nice and quick. But everyone finally does catch up in the end, and it is SLR Quattro who's going to head now down to the line to get his starting position for the race. I just do not like this camera angle whatsoever. Let's see who has the best one. Jinx definitely does in P4, and we'll see now how this will work. Here we go, to 5. Wait, no, that's still waving me back. Here we go, to 5 red lights for the Monaco Grand Prix here in Monte Carlo. It's lights out and away we go. It's a rapid getaway yet again from the McLaren. SJR the same, he's gotten right up. SLR Quattro into the lead. Lucas Paul forced a bit wide, a bit of contact, a huge collision, massive crash at the back. Rayan's caused an absolute huge pile up, and all the cars getting involved, and somehow only one retirement. Absolute carnage, like an open lobby there with Rayan's optimistic move on Lucas Paul down the inside, and will have to investigate that, because that was absolute carnage, and it's given an absolute gift to SLR Quattro out in the lead of this race. Looked so clean, the other restart, but obviously without my telemetry settings it would have been impossible to commentate on that race, so we had to make something else happen of it, and well, it hasn't worked well for Rayan there. He's gone for something optimistic and it hasn't paid off, and he's currently the first retirement of this race. No safety car, so there must be some sort of glitch on the safety car around Monaco that it doesn't come out for any incidents, so it looks like it won't be any safety car in this race as some people head into the pit lane. SJR is one, Lucas Paul, and that's mean Jinx has got himself up in the second place. A lot of people took it very cautious, and I think have managed to avoid having to take a pit stop there. Patish Hund is in, Kofi, CRM Doodle, Oven Curry is running around with no front wing, and I think Ski Fan, he doesn't have much damage either. So a lot of people have gotten lucky out of it, but SLR Quattro will be licking his lips because he is currently on lap 2, 8 seconds clear of the lead. An absolute chaotic lap 1, and well, definitely not one I was hoping to see. Here's Rancho 17 going down the inside of a Rix Paolo there into Rascas, trying to get a move done. Here they go side by side through Anthony Nose. And he heads through, and Randro 17 is up into P2. Jinx has come into the pit lane there for a new set of tyres. And I think a front wing change. I'm guessing that's why everyone else was in SJR. Also into the pit lane, front wing change for him. Another one in this race. The field is well spread out now because cars are struggling to adapt to this. But Randro 17, we have to admit that was some start from him, although he has end plate damage. We can see on his front right, that's Kofi retiring in the pit lane already. Has had enough of the Monaco Grand Prix. Owen Curry heads around final corner now, and that's put Kofi down in P15, and he's almost about to get lapped here by SLR Quattro. If he's not careful on the hard tyres, he may try and go to the end. Owen Curry, we don't know. Quattro set the fast lap of the Grand Prix at 1:13.1. Randro 17 closely pressurised by Rix Paolo, but with that front wing is going to be just holding up people a lot. He's hoping that it doesn't make a huge impact on his performance. Rando was taken, has gotten some start as well, avoiding incidents with his on the fresh soft tyres, and has got himself into P5 along with Jackie Gabbana. So the Red Bulls have done a very good job indeed. Again, unfortunate for Lucas Paul, who also had to come in on lap 1 after his madness lap 1 incident with Rayan, and we're going to have to see how that was all made of. Oh, and he's hit the back of Ski Fan there. And has he picked up damage? He has. He's no front wing. Oh wait, no, he does have a front wing. It's camouflaged. Oh, is that SJR? That's SJR. He's retired from the race. After only 4 laps, he has had enough. And we've had 3 people who have already given up. Well, 2 people have already given up on this race. And SJR is out of here. Mopsy Flopsy having a great race in Abu Dhabi, getting P3 in his first race, but it's definitely not going the same here today. CRM Doodle a good 8 seconds up the road, and he's just a little bit further clear than normal. Oh, and that's SJR's car still racing, even though it's retired, and now it's in the wall. I don't know what is happening. This lobby is just completely fucked. Is that car going to be sitting there now for the whole race? No, thank fuck, it's gone. But that's gone through a whole sector and a half there, and it could have got Rando even more damage. They tried to avoid it, and he's got himself at least 1 second clear, and it looks like nothing crazy has happened because of it, but I think that's a Patish Hund who has spun round there at the entrance to the tunnel section, and he also has no front wing. It's not been the dream start for Alfa Romeo either. Both of them have had to make early pit stops and are down in P11 and P7. Quattro's now leading this race by a pit stop, which is absolutely unbelievable. Look at Jinx right on the back of Ski Fan here. Lads are very impatient. They know it's hard to overtake around Monaco. They need to understand that, but Jinx is gonna go for it here on Ski Fan anyway. Round the outside of the hairpin, they try to go side by side. Jinx is gonna hopefully get his car, a full car in front there as they head through Portier. A lovely overtake from Jinx, and he's up into P8 here. And after that pit stop, he's definitely started to enjoy the racing around here just a little bit more. than, say, others. And Patish Hund came out of the pits, has just come out of the pits there. He has now been lapped by SLR Quattro. Randro 17, obviously with the broken front wing, means that he won't be able to really catch up to Quattro much. And he has Ajdux behind. Ajdux is going to try his best now to try and get ahead of Randro. He breaks late down. Probably needs to know that Randro does have a broken front wing and be a bit cautious, because Randro is going to break early. He's going to have to try and make the corners, not hit the barriers. Jinx gets by Jackie Gabbana. I think Lucas Parr may have had a bit of a spin because he's lost out to Ski Fan, and I think Jackie Gabbana may have had a bit of trouble as well. But Jinx is now up in the P6. He's definitely making his recovery run a little bit better here, as Randro 17's picked up a 3-second penalty there and has just let Ajdux through, so hasn't decided to try and battle with him. As we see Paolo here now go through the swing push chicane. He will be next to catch up to Randro 17 now with 23 seconds for Ajdux. It's going to be a long way until he's going to be able to try and catch up with Quattro, who pretty much hasn't seen a car so far other than lapped cars ahead of him, because ever since that lap 1 incident he was the only one that avoided it and just went. He was just gone. That's why it's so crucial to Lou. Here's Lucas Paul. He has lost his front wing. It's been a disappointing race for the guy who is an unbelievable Monaco driver, but is definitely not enjoying that here today. He's running P10 and only 8 laps into this Grand Prix. And who is that just around the corner but SLR Quattro? Has Lucas Paul in his sights. The man who was on the front row with him now is only right beside him here, and not beside him as in they're battling, right beside him as in blue flags could appear for Lucas Paul soon. For Quattro approaching. There's the first. You could just see there. There's the second. The blue flags are being waved. Lucas Paul's going to try and break away, but obviously he has people away. I don't think now they're real legitimate blue flags. But I don't think Quattro really is being slowed down by this, although he is taking his caution extra carefully. Lucas Paul is just desperately trying to get through past Owen Curry here at the moment. We'll see now whether or not he can, as he has DRS activated now on the run down to Sam Devot. Owen Curry, they both have a lot of ERS stored, but it seems like they have got themselves sorted. We'll have a look here at the number of stops. So the only people who haven't made pit stops so far: Jackie Gabbana, Rando, Eric's Paolo, Randro, Ajdux and SLR Quattro. Lucas Paul did set the fastest sector 1 there, but Owen Curry is just like a roadblock, and you can't quite see him to get any sort of run at him. As far as penalties go, Jackie Gabbana has 8, CRM Doodle has 5, Mopsy Flopsy 3, and Randro 17 3. There's Owen Curry. That's him spun round. And SLR Quattro has lapped another car. Is hoping now to have these blue flags to get Lucas Paul out of the way for him. But Lucas Paul with a bit of clean air is probably going to say, no, I'll just power on ahead now and I'll start overtaking a few more cars, as that's Owen Curry into the pit lane, retiring from the session. McLaren's thought it'd be a season to remember, but at the moment it's been a season to forget for them too. and both of them are out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Ooh. Quattro does seem to be struggling a bit here now. 10 laps on these cars, and you can see Lucas Paul starting just to fly a little bit further away and catch up to Mopsy Flopsy ahead. Here's Lucas Paul lining it up here, possibly on Mopsy. Just going to put the pressure on. Bit of a pile up here ahead now. Lucas Paul may just get the run that he wanted. Jackie Gabbana's been overtaken. Lucas Paul possibly going to go for the overtake on both of them. Oh, he's just left absolutely no room. You can't go 3 wide in the sand of that. It's literally impossible. He manages to keep the car going though, and I think SLR Quattro coming into this traffic here now is actually going to make him a bit more scared of these cars ahead, because they are just way too scary for him to try and overtake with blue flags. So he'd rather just wait for their mistake and he'd go by. And at the moment that's what he's doing. He's taking it extra cautious. He knows he's a 28-second lead here at the moment. This is a walkabout pretty much for him. He could get into his own car that he has back in Netherlands and he could start driving that and he could still win this race. Lucas Paul is trying his best here. The only real battle on track here between these guys, all trying to overtake each other as there's yellow flags, and it's a Patachund. He has been struggling this race, and it could be time for him to call it quits on this race as well. But here goes Lucas Paul again, gaining on Mopsy Flopsy, putting the pressure on. Mopsy Flopsy managing just to keep him behind. He's getting a bit impatient though, and you may see some sort of move being lined up here now from Lucas Paul very soon. You see Mopsy Flopsy just putting his car in the right place of the track in order to keep them behind. He's a Ferrari in front and a Ferrari in the back, and I'm guessing Sierra and Doodle's going to try and just almost sandwich them together before letting his teammate go and do the business when Rando and the guys in front will start to pit. We'll see now Lucas Paul gaining again, gaining on the run down into the chicane, and he's just going to have to sit in behind here. He's waiting, just waiting for a mistake here from Mopsy Flopsy, even attempting to go side by side there as we watch them now go through the swimming pool chicane, still right beside each other, the two trying to jostle for positions here, and Mopsy Flopsy getting the better over at Lucas Paul at the moment as we get another lap and another bit of DRS here for Lucas Paul to aid in his overtaking adventure, but yet again he's just way too far back and unable to make any sort of move, and blue flags now starting to be waved. And there he goes down the inside. He had to take a risk. He's gone for a risk there. but yet again he's unable to get a bit of contact into the hairpin, but he's unable to make the move stick. Yet again, right on the back of Mopsy Flopsy here. But with all this dirty air and stuff, he just cannot seem to get close enough here. See who can get the better exit out of the Nouvelle chicane. Lucas Paul does, but again, just way too far back, and that's Eric's Paolo into the pit lane there. He's out, and that's Rando was taken, and he's out. Oh, they're very close. They're side by side going up the hill here. Oh, and Paolo's round. Paolo's collided, and they are both really losing out in that situation. Has Paolo got any sort of front wing damage? I'm guessing Rando does. He seems to be okay. Paolo made his pit stop, came out, slammed the wall. I think has also just came out unscathed. We'll see when they come back around for their pit stops. But it's an absolute pile up here. Lucas Paul obviously went for something. He chanced something, and something has happened. Now SLR Quattro got through that, but did anything happen to him? Doesn't seem to be. But Lucas Paul obviously tried something there, which didn't work. He doesn't seem to have any front wing damage that I can see. Himself, Mopsy Flopsy and Ski Fan are all the losers of it. And Apatashund has retired. Oh, and he's retired right on the exit of there. Now as Rando comes up the hill, he'd want to be very cautious, because what he doesn't know is that there's an Alfa Romeo right there. Paolo avoids the next CRM doodle. Oh, he doesn't avoid it. Oh, and here comes Mopsy Flopsy around the corner. He manages to avoid it. Lucas Paul the same. Ski Fan was in the pit lane, so that should be the end of that. But just incidents like these are something that just makes me a bit wary of the drivers here. They want to be sim racers. They want to be racing at the highest level, and that's why they're in RSL Tier 1. And I'm seeing a few of them today really aren't showing that characteristic of proper true racers. They're trying things that realistically that won't be tried anywhere else on a racetrack. But Lucas Paul and Mopsy Flopsy's battle continues. Oh, not Ski Fan is retired. Out of the Nouvelle chicane. Ski Fan has gone straight on. That leaves us now with only 10. So that means everyone else's race is crucial, because they're racing now for points. They must stay in the race in order to get points. Lucas Paul into the pit lane again. Out onto hard tyres, and that'll be him now till the end of the race. Hasn't been a good race at all for Williams, although RSL is still in. I shouldn't count him out. For McLaren, Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo, hasn't been a race to remember. Mercedes 2-3 at the moment, with Jinx driving a pretty good race himself in P2, but unless Quattro makes a mistake and puts it in a wall, it looks like it's going to be only P2 for him. As ever since that lap 1 incident and what really should have been a safety car, but obviously there must be some sort of glitch with the safety car around Monaco. Maybe it was a bad time for it to host it on the calendar because of it. But obviously I didn't know that when the calendar was announced. It's probably been one of the worst Monaco races I've ever seen. As we watch here, the epitome of this race is pretty much this happening right here. That is people going in and changing their front wing. And SLR Quattro now, as he heads down the straight, has lapped up to 6th place now. And his next job is RSL, who seems to be a good 16 odd seconds, I think, up the road. And Rando has picked up a penalty there for corner cutting when putting on the medium tyres. And he's hit the wall. It's definitely been a race to forget for him as well. Back reserving. Monaco of all the tracks to reserve in. Driving around with no front wing isn't going to help that. Picked up another penalty there. And I'm guessing as he comes into the pit lane, he is going to try this again, so fair play to him for not retiring. And it's Jackie Gabbana instead who has retired. Now where has he retired? He has retired on the track. Now we'll see, I hope that's away. That's good and out of the way. It is quite out of the way, which is very lucky. So it means that we only have 9 people scoring points today. We thought it could be a season of all 10 scorers scoring points, but at the moment it's only going to be 9. And we'll see if it even stays like that for the rest of this race. Lucas Paul did get by Mopsy Flopsy there and that's also Rando. That's a very interesting place to retire. Let's have a look at that again. That's a very, very interesting place to retire. Well, now it's only 8. And still 17 laps of this Grand Prix to go. This has definitely been a race to forget. Jinx into the pit lane, another front wing change. Say if we counted up all the pit stops in this race, don't know, you could be counting forever. I think Jinx only came in just to change his tyres because he can change his tyres. Either that or he has got damage because he's been overtaken by both cars here. Oh, he gets that little cut, but Adgedox still gets through, so Jinx has a bit of a job now to do. He has to get by Adgedox, and he also has to get by Randro 17. Rando has left the session. SLR Quattro with all his pit stop time, he has enough time to go and make another pit stop. He's made this Monaco race a 2-stop, and that's Adgedox, who's under the pressure of Jinx, has made a mistake and is into the wall. And is now into the pit lane. So his fresh tyres didn't last long, he has got some front wing damage. So Jinx now just has his teammate of Randro 17 to overtake, but these two are both reserves, so it doesn't really matter whether or not who finishes second, who finishes third, but it could be a little bit of a Mercedes battle here, which could make things just a little bit more interesting if there was a collision perhaps. Both of these probably been the best reserves we've had all season. Hope to see a few more of these throughout the season as Jinx now starts to gain on Randro 17. And Randro, I think, still has that end plate damage. He has pulled to the side and let Jinx through. Yep, still has that end plate damage, so just taking his caution. Ooh, I could fall asleep watching this race because no battles at the moment, everyone about 10 seconds apart. And at the moment I'm just kind of watching Quattro and checking for yellow flags. Adgedox into the pits again. That's probably the end of what was looking to be a good race for him. Because now Lucas Paul's going to come around the final corner and he's going to overtake another Alpine. Don't think Mopsy will, as Quattro now crosses the line. He has been unlapped by Lucas Paul. So if we go gap to leader, Mopsy, Adgedox and CRM Doodle have been lapped, but Lucas Paul hasn't, so if miraculously a safety car does work, these 5 guys at the front will all be battling it out for the win. But I don't think that will. 13 laps to go and it hasn't been working so far. Lucas Paul has let Quattro through. Maybe a bit of an Alpine battle we can see going on here. Something to take interest in. Edge Ducks gaining on Mopsy Flopsy. Two teammates. Is it going to be two teammates battling here? If there's a crash, they'll be losing a lot of points. Because what is it? 6, 8, 6, 14 points here on the line for Alpine today. That they could all go to waste if one of these were to crash. And obviously DNF now from the race, not just crash. Ooh. Almost hits into him. And Edge Ducks gets a great exit there. Mopsy Flopsy's going to force him very, very hard to the outside. This is great racing here. They bang wheels, but it's Mopsy Flopsy who stays in front. Here he is again. This time he's going to line one up down the inside as Lucas Paul did. They're still side by side. This is amazing racing. They know how to race. They know how to keep it clean. Edge Ducks going to go for the switch back here into the hairpin. Still going, battling here. The two Alpines doing something to amuse themselves. And, well, they seem to be very comfortable in doing that. And whoever the Alpine team manager is also the same. They seem to be quite okay with this happening because they continue to battle, and it looks to be all good and clean so far. Edge Ducks thinking of lining one up into the back. This is something for me to commentate on here now towards the end of this race. Edge Ducks or Mopsy Flopsy, who wants to take home the 8 points, who wants to take home the 6? It looks like no one wants to take home the 6 by the way these are battling. They just want the most amount of points as possible for that Drivers' Championship. As here they go, he's in the slipstream now. He's thinking of maybe pulling to the inside. He's going to go down the inside, a bit of contact. Edge Ducks picks up a penalty. I think that puts them level on penalties. That's put Edge Ducks in front there after picking up a penalty. Still getting the move done. Mopsy Flopsy 6 and Edge Ducks on 3. Now it could be Paolo's day here today for him to finally get on the podium, or finally get a bit of luck and get into the podium here from where he started. So started in P7 or P8 and could make it P3 if he can get within 9 seconds of Ramiro 17 towards the end of this race. Maybe Mopsy Flopsy was not up to the pace of Edge Ducks. And ever since the collision earlier in the race when Jinx put the pressure on, it's gone downhill for Edge Ducks, and he's now down in P6, but still taking home 8 points for Alpine at the moment. 9 laps to go. I'm just hoping for dear God that nothing else happens and I can just head off. But we'll see whether or not that does happen. Alex Paolo and Lucas Paul, the only two drivers not to pick up time penalties. If there was a safety car on this, then we could see that into play at the end of this race, but luckily nothing to be worried about for the drivers who are at the front and have maybe an 18 to 30 second gap to the car behind. Yellow flags into sector 2. That was Flopsy, had a bit of an off. Five laps to go. So Quattro is into pit, obviously with 34 second gap. It means he is able to pit for fresh softs and is now going to make sure he can maintain that fastest lap. We'll see what he can do now. He has a maximum battery of ERS and now starting, I think, the fourth last lap of this Grand Prix. He just has a few more to go. Oh no! Oh no! What's happened? He's retired in the pits. What's he doing? Oh, that is devastating. So that is only going to be 8 points then for Alpine and an extra 6 for Ferrari. And that could be huge in their battle in the championship. And Adgedox just didn't want to rate the extra 4 laps. Well, that's if at the end it counts as plus 3 laps instead of DNF, but I'm pretty sure he was more than plus 3 laps behind Quattro, including the next 4. So we'll see anyway when it gets to the end whether it's registered as DNF or whatever it's registered as. This race should be registered as a FOR GET, I forget, because it's definitely one to forget, not one to win nicely. I'm sure Quattro will celebrate the win nicely because Here he is now going for his fastest lap. We'll keep an eye on board of this hopefully great lap from him. As he's 2/10 up on what was his quickest time. We'll see whether or not Jinx comes into the pits and they go for a fastest lap showdown. Maybe Lucas Paul could do one as well. If he would, it'd be around now that he'd go in for it. Here we go now as he heads into the new Revel chicane. Again, so far so good. Through the back. It's now 4/10 up on what was his quickest time now, and as he heads through Raskas now to the final turn of Anthony Nos. SLR Quattro comes to the line. He won 11-1. Fastest lap so far. Lucas Paul also now into the pit lane. He's going to go and set and see if he can beat that time, that Quattro set. See whether or not he can do that. I think Jinx and Randro are still kind of just a little bit relaxed. Don't know whether Jinx will come into the pits or not. I think it's too late for him to do that now. But we might as well make something a bit interesting here for this last lap, so we'll watch it in cinematic mode with no UI, no telemetry. It's kind of just a satisfying way to watch the last few laps. It gives me time to also think of a commentary line of Quattro to win. But we'll have a look now as he heads round through La Rascas and now through Anthony Nos. Quattro starts his final lap of this race up now into Sandoval. Nothing could go wrong for him now because it hasn't gone wrong for him at all so far this season. He has 69 points to his name out of a possible 75. Make that, I think it's going to be 85 or 95 now. He's going to be possibly one of the quickest drivers ever racing. If he wins in Netherlands, he's equalled the record of Syke and Lucas Paul for the most wins in a row. But he's one of not many drivers in RSL/CTCR who have won 2 races in a row, and as he heads through the swimming pool chicane now, it's going to be AlphaTauri's 3rd win of the season. He won in Singapore, he won in Abu Dhabi, he's going to win in Monaco to equal the record with Syke and Lucas Paul and win the Monaco Grand Prix. What a domination drive it's been from AlphaTauri so far. And Quattro's just been on another level of good. Behind Jinx, he's had all the bad luck in this league and other leagues, but he's finally going to step on the podium in this league for the first time since Bahrain of Season 2. Jinx, the reserve for Mercedes, will be happy to take home a P2. And next then is Randro, who is back racing with us once again, and for the first time since I think Abu Dhabi, or first time since Brazil, he'll step foot on a podium, and he's going to step foot on the Monte Carlo podium as he, for the first time and only time in F1 22, finishes on the podium for a Monaco Grand Prix. Rix Paolo, I think he is going to get it though. I think, yeah. So Randro doesn't step on the podium after all. Lucas Paul sets that fastest lap and picks up 11 points. Luckily for AlphaTauri, or for Ferrari. And Mopsy Flopsy will finish P6 and this team crossing the line. driver of the day is Randall 17. It says that, but I don't think it will be. I think that has to go to SLR Quattro. But as we watch, see Rem Doodle already out of here. I'm sure some of the guys would have liked to have seen the podium celebrations, SLR Quattro. Even the Monte Carlo turn and out onto the podium here. An iconic podium to stand on, an iconic race trophy to hold. It's the third win in a row for AlphaTauri, third win in a row for Quattro, and he levels a very, very pristine list of race winners in RSL. So, SLR Quattro couldn't quite get the fastest lap at the end, maybe pitted just a little bit too early. Jinx finishes in P2 with Eric Paolo in P3, just taking it off. Randro had obviously those penalties, but still a very good drive for him, considering that's going to be one of his only races of the season in Monaco. Lucas Paul P5 with the fastest lap, Mopsy Flopsy P6, and CRM Doodle last of the finishes in P7. Adstox 8, Rando 9th, Jackie Cabana 10th. They are part of our retirees in the top 10, and none of them will get points because, as you can see there, it's also registered as a DNF. Ski Fana, Patish Hunt, Oven Curry, SJR, Kofi, Rayan, they are the rest of our finishers today. Sanko obviously also finishing 17th with a DNF. We'll go through the instance in case people want to get them appealed. Thank you for watching today's race. I'm sure you are probably as bored as I am, but I hope for the time that you did enjoy it. This has been RSL, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.